At first, I didn't want to hear it. I was just like, just let me go back to the locker room. 'Cause I was like, we still have some more games to play at once 2 weeks is here. But you never know. So I was just like, hey, whatever. Coach was like, he gave me that look. And I was like, you know what the heck, let's go do it. So I'm glad I did. It's just fun. It's like I say, if it ended today, you know, and this day, this end of the season, these last 16 games will be talked about for a very long time, and that's something I'll always remember. At least I scored my last basket, and it'll be a weird but cool memory.
Liz, is this moment surreal for you? Like just looking back at playing from college to today, just to have it end like this.
Yeah, it is. It's just it's a weird way to say I'm calling it a career. It really is. I mean, you're used to you don't have any more games left. Instead, I technically have what I would consider eligibility. I have 15 games left, technically. But if not, I'm one with it, and it's just like I say, it's just weird. As we were kind of being briefed on everything, what's going on, what you guys have been seeing all the second half. I just sit there and like, it's just all right. This is it, like that. It ended like that, So probably tonight I was reflecting like, golly, it's just weird. I didn't foresee. I went from the hesitation of starting the season and going through the season to not really saying the word retirement to, having a conversation with Kobe gave me the confidence and comfort to talk about retirement to this point where the season's over when in my mind I know there's 15 games left, but we're not sure yet. So it's cool though. It's basketball has been good to me. I've enjoyed each and every moment of it, good and bad. So if this is it, it's all good. At least I made my last basket.
You seem to be telling yourself in your head, at least trying to say, there's going to be some games left. Can't quite accept that.
Yeah, it's just like I said. It's like it literally just happened, and you're trying to process all of this. So, like I said, if it is, I'm okay with it. It's just weird how it ends, how it ended. You have that when it's the last game. You have that drive here. It's like, well, this is the last one. I didn't have that thought, that drive today. It's just kind of like it's possible because of everything else that's transpired. The NCAA. Blah blah blah. Other Golden State with the fanless games and all of these things. So I had a conversation with my friends about it, kind of updating them, and it's like as I'm texting this stuff, and I'm like, well, shoot, I'm like, we're it's gonna happen to us soon. And then with that, when you actually think about it that way, it could be the end. Because we talked about it a couple of days ago. So you never know, but I'll be around somewhere, golf course probably.
You plan to get, a lot of talk about the Knicks just played Utah. You plan to get tested and.
We just wait for the team, whatever they tell us. I'm not an expert, so I just follow their protocol, and I tell them, I'm easy to find.
You don't quite fall into that elderly.
Not yet. That was my first question, though. Believe it or not, when they first talked to us, I was like, yeah. So what's the age group? 65. Okay, I'm good. But no, I mean, it's just regardless. I mean, it's just obviously a scary thought, and you when you throw the word death around, I think that kind of shocks everybody and just puts us in a frenzy and everybody on guard, and you can't get away from that. Every time you talk about this, regardless of all of the precautions, that's what you think about, and you feel for everyone who's has a lot more to worry about than us as the young athletes, and I'm just speaking of the athletes, and for everybody else. So we're just we're just doing the right thing and just taking the lead of our organization and staff, and who's really briefed us and done a great job of just informing us, because like we don't know, we just go by what we're told, and from there we just try to hold each other accountable, being smart and washing your hands and making the right decisions.
Is it kind of partially silent about there's no ceremony, no fanfare? That's one.
I'm not one for the whole thing anyway. So you ask a lot of people around me, they'll tell you this. I'm I'm one like I'm appreciative, but you know, I do my time and just walk out the door is okay with me. You know, believe it or not, but it's cool. Believe it or not, it's cool. I just game's been good. Nah, just my boy, who I made come back here. That's it.
When you weigh, obviously, like wanting to play this team, wanting to finish the season, wanting to compete, but with safety issues and wanting everyone to stay safe and healthy, do you think it was the right call?
Of course, I mean, you know, that's what it's all about is just safety, and you feel for Gobert and being in this situation, and you know, it's a lot of things at stake when you think about this. So it's just like, you know, I think even worrying about, oh man, I didn't get to play my last 15 games. That's selfish because I think safety and everybody's health is more important to, you know, for me, and that's why I think, you know, when you asked that question about does it feel weird? Yes, it feels weird, but I'm okay with it because I understand what's the bigger picture is the safety, not even for us as players, but as you move forward, you know, our parents or grandparents who we get around, you know, that's, you know, where it just gets a little sketchy. And so, you know, it is what it is. It was meant to be this way, you know. Just like I was thinking, I came in on the half a season in the lockout, and I walk away from the game kind of unfinished business, which is okay.
Vince, if this is it, what has it meant to play your final year, your career with this Hawks organization?
It's been great. You know, they've given opportunity to kind of to be me. You know, all I wanted to do was just come out and play and compete. Still, you know, be a mentor and an outlet for these guys. But championship is an end-all, be-all for me. A ring, of course, is what a goal, what that goal was coming in, just like every other athlete. And sometimes you don't reach it. But I was one with it all, and I think more so than anything, I worked so hard to be in shape and play this game to compete against young guys half my age. So I wanted to go out playing the game. And you know, when you say, you know, how old is he again? Oh, he looks like he can still play. You know, that's the feeling. That's like a championship, because I think each and every night when you're playing against another young guy, like, man, I don't see how you're doing it. You look like you could play a couple of years. That's like winning a championship in my mind. You know, some people probably don't see it that way, and they're like, oh man, you should go for it, and I appreciate that. But you know, I think sitting on the end of the bench, not being able to be a part of this is, you know, that would kill me more than anything. I'd be a bitter old man then, for real. So it's been a great ride.
Vince, in the event that this does conclude your career, you probably spent more time with these guys than anybody. What can you say about them in terms of going forward with their just progression and development and just the whole?
I mean, that's what it's all about. I mean, coming back after All-Star break was about development, and you know, it's, you know, Coach LP, you know, put it out there about this team being very capable of making the playoffs, and we can't be afraid to throw that word out there. Maybe even though other people may see it as silly, because you look at our record now, but we're talking about a group of guys who are thrown in the fire trying to learn this game, which is not easy. And for the everyday fan out there to look, like, it's not easy to win an NBA game, especially when you don't have a lot of experience, games played. And I think, you know, bigger pictures, you just look at the growth of these young guys. Like, look at the growth of Cam over the year, you know, Bruno. I mean, all of them, every play, even Trey, John, Kevin on down, and that's like very promising. And these guys are, you know, our practices were kind of geared towards what they want to accomplish next year. So if you want to be this, like the mistakes you make now, it's not like, oh, we can't do that. In a playoff game, you can't do this. Just value the ball. So these things that you're trying to throw in there, and don't get me wrong, it's nothing like experience in the playoffs. You can't prepare in my opinion, you can't prepare a player or a young guy for the playoffs until you just experience it. It's just next level. Like, you can't simulate that in practice. You can't simulate that in a regular season game because it's just different. So, the repetitions of just constantly putting in their mind, like, we play a couple of games, where we say, and I remember saying in the locker room, this is something like a playoff game right here. This is how tough it's going to be. And like I said, until they experience it, they won't understand it completely. But our preparation has moved towards that and kind of just helping these guys mature and put them on the fast track. And just like for Trey, that he's going to draw a lot of attention in pick and rolls or in general, and just making the right play, protecting the ball. Sometimes we go for the home run play, what looks good, and that's the things I throw at him. Like, can't do that in the playoffs, in big games, or if we're playing for a playoff spot, whether it's trying to get a 5th seed or trying to get the 8th seed. These are things you have to value the basketball. So, it's just growth mindset. Something you've heard all year, and they're really starting to understand that, and you can just see the confidence in these guys now. That I still love to play. That I say for any person, well, of course we can say athlete, but any person who wakes up every morning at the tender age of 35 or older, I'll give you that, or even in your 40s, and you try to go do something, some type of activity, being active, and you see how hard it is, and then you think of, man, this man trying to play in the NBA at the highest level, 43, he must love it. And that's what I want to be remembered, because I think, when you talk about remembered for this, that, and the fourth, like, you're going to organically and naturally think of all the highlights and plays and cool moments to you or whoever. But I just think my love for the game at this age, my ability to still compete and play, is what I want people to really cherish and understand. It's not easy, believe me. There's been days I've come into practice and say, hey, coach, I'm probably going to retire today. I told him, he's like, yeah, okay, whatever. No, really. But, I find a way every day just because I love it. I love it. So that's what makes it, that's what made it so tough in the beginning of the year to talk about, because it's still in me, like competing and being out there in the atmosphere. And maybe I'm not even playing on the game, but it's just playing in the game is just sit there and being able to time out to go before the coaches come in. I'll go just give them some information, and they're receiving it and listening to it. I love that, and once it's over, it's over. Unless I become a coach, which we know that's not happening. So,
This is it. What things will you miss or won't you miss?
locker room, just being around, being a player. Like I said, sitting out there, witnessing or being a part of comebacks like this when probably everybody in the building didn't think we had a chance. But just seeing these guys buckle down and finding a way, that's fun. That's competition. That's what it's. That's like an adrenaline rush in itself, just to be a part of it, and just seeing guys go from just nervousness and not understanding to experiencing these situations a lot, becoming calm and just can sit there. And they always ask me, I don't know if you guys ever look over there, like everybody's standing up. Where am I? I'm always sitting there watching the thing. It's just once you're a part of it and it becomes second nature to you. That's when the game becomes easy and fun in high intense moments. Like, I don't know, it's just a weird thing. I tried the whole standing up thing. I was like, guys, I got to go back and sit down. That's just, being around so long, that's what comes with it. Just learning the game, and I'll miss that. I still learn. I still sit there and ask questions. I still make mistakes, and I'm like, coach me, and they do. They get on me just like everybody else, and I walk up there and ask these guys questions because I still learn to this day, even though this is the final run of it, but like, I still want to learn because I love it. That's just what it is.
Have you thought about your secondary?
Say again?
Have you thought about your secondary as far as the next step?
Oh yeah, for sure. Broadcasting is something I want to do. Maybe down the line, if I could be a part of an organization to, maybe not coaching, but player development, help develop guys. I enjoy that type of stuff. Maybe part of ownership one of these days, just being around the game. I want to help, be the middleman to help both sides, bring it all together to make it one, finally two organization one day. You heard it here first.
Vince, when you guys were in Toronto, you were asked how it felt to play with the fans and everything. You said
One more time.
when you guys were playing in Toronto,
Oh,
you were
okay.
asked how it felt to play, and you said, "Well, we got one more game, and if tonight is indeed the last game for you for your career, what was your time like in Toronto and the fans?"
My time in Toronto, oh, it was crazy. You know, you talking about as a player or that last time we played? I mean, obviously as a player, as a young guy, just trying to establish myself as a NBA player and wanting to be the best. You know, the player I could possibly be. You know, I learned a lot. I grew up there as a young man, not knowing the impact that I would have. You know, because I was just that young kid trying to establish myself. You know, just figure this game out. And I mean, I had all these veterans obviously in my corner, but it's just like I'm playing the game that I love, and somebody's giving me the opportunity to do so and go for it. And you know, playing that last game in Toronto, it's always fun. You know, it went from all the boos to cheers, and so that's like refreshing and heartwarming, and kind of to play in that game, to hear the cheers. You know, now it was kind of surreal and just a fun moment to be a part of. So, you know, I couldn't imagine what the last time would have been. I can't even imagine. So.
Would it have been weird if the NBA decided to not let fans in the arena? Would it have been weird to play in Toronto?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You know, I understand, like I said, I understand it all, and safety first, but it'd have been like a practice day. But, you know, you're playing against the Raptors. When you look up there and you see nobody but, you know, friends and family. So it's unfortunate. You know, it was kind of one of those things that I was kind of looking forward to, but it is what it is.
And Vince, you said that preparing for everything. Can you tell me how being at the University of North Carolina prepared you to have this great NBA career? And also, did you want to beat Michael Jordan one-on-one?
You know, meeting Coach Smith for the first time was, you know, prior to being in Chapel Hill, it was just amazing to basically hear his stories and, you know, just hear him talk about how he prepares guys, and walking on that campus the first time and going through that. Well, not my first practice. My first practice wasn't very good because I got elbowed in the face and I got a concussion my first day. So, but just going through his practices and, you know, just how he broke down the game, and he's like, here, I'm teaching you the tools of the game, and everything else you will develop along the way once you understand how to play the game. And, you know, it's tough and it's different, but I tell you, when I walked into the NBA, I felt comfortable playing the game, even though it's a little, obviously the college game and the pro game's a little different, but I felt like the game of basketball was still the same because I was prepared for it, I was prepped for it, and now I just have to learn the NBA style and the way the game's played. And once that happened, I think all of those things I learned from college is helping me more so now than, you know, in the beginning. I was athletic, I was young, you know, I can do whatever. As you tend to lose athleticism and not run as high, run as fast, jump as high, now you rely on the game, how to break the game down, and that's, you know, it just happens so naturally for me. They're like, you know, people ask me all the time, how are you able to, you know, to still compete? It's just, now I have to outsmart people. I have to get to point B before they do, you know, and how can I do it as quickly as possible? You know, just breaking the game down, and, you know, that's kind of how I was taught, and it was just always there, just, you know, I mean, I guess you realize it, but you just didn't, it was just second nature, you know. And as far as playing Mike, I mean, just like every Carolina player who walked in and out of that building, who played against him while he was in the league, wanted to play their best against MJ. And I remember that first time playing against him, you know, That's all you hear about, Carolina guys, blah, 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 So I remember, why do I remember? I don't know, but the drive over the first time, I want to say, playing at home. And, I just wanted to just, obviously, and I see it now being the older guy, and guys who kind of look up to you, they want to play their best and they're going at him. And I said the same thing. I'm going at Mike. I'm with, and it was just, once I kind of got that out of my system and, realized that, hey, okay, you're doing too much, you're hurting your team, you just go and play. It was just a great experience. And, I'm fortunate enough to say, and there aren't a lot of players that can say this, but I played against some of the best players that, have ever played this game. We talk about Kobe being one of the best. We talk about MJ being the best. And I can say I got that opportunity to lace them up against two of the greatest to do it. So that means I'm old, but I'm thankful for it. Because I also played against Hakeem Olajuwon.
For 100% clarity,
100%?
there's no chance you come back to the NBA next season or try to come back.
No.
Even for the last 15 games?
Hey, I got to think about that part of it. No, not that I know of. The money is different these days, though. I'll make sure I'm in shape just because. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it, man. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.